What's the motherfucking deal, Sauce Nation? How are y'all doing this evening? I want to welcome you to Sauce Sports. If you're not familiar with Sauce Sports is a Houston, Texas homer network. So that means we're talking all sports, but only Houston. With that being said, you already know that. You know, probably look, sometimes, you know, we be just a little slightly delayed. But you know how we get this thing off, man. First and foremost, I want to shout out to my guest this evening. Who we got in the mix with us tonight?
I was waiting for Darren to go first.
Oh, disappearing Darren. Look, there.
Nah, my bad, man. My sister was calling, trying to give me some news. Sorry.
Already.
World Series champion Hector Flores in the mix.
Already. All right. That occupied. What's the motherfucking deal, y'all? We got, like I said, we got Darren, we got Hector in the mix, so we're going to talk about some interesting things tonight. We're going to talk about the biggest hurdles that will be facing the Houston Texans in the upcoming 2018 season. And before we get this party started, man, y'all know how it goes. Y'all know how we do this thing. There is no sauce without Sauce Nation. You know what I mean? So we got to make sure we show a little bit of love. And if y'all don't know how this goes, man, if you new to this and not true to this quite yet, we got to shout out with the Sauce Nation roll call. So that means if you are from the city, the H-Town, the surrounding areas, man, shout out your side with pride. And if you're not from the city, you know, let us know where you're from. You know what I'm saying? Let us know where we can send a little bit of love your way, because, you know what I'm saying, we appreciate you, even if you're not from the city, the greatest city in the whole wide world. You know what I'm saying? We still want to show some love and send some love your way. So with that being said, man, let's see who we got in the mix this evening. And then we're going to get in it to win it. So let's see. J-Pack, Rigo, Hector Flores. Not only is he in the stream, he's in the chat doing double duty. Outlaw, what's the motherfucking deal? Tony, Texas, the Coon, Houston B, Broderick, what's the motherfucking deal? Titans up, Ass Mel. Real family from downtown Atlanta, as always. Sharpstown, Southwest in the mix. Northwest, Arkansas, St. Louis, Austin, Texas. Reverend G County today, You know what I'm saying? Southside, Houston, hold it down. Do the South Side. Man. So like I say, we're just going to talk about a couple of things, and we're going to, let me get the bank open. Look, players fuck up. A-Leaf in the motherfucking mix. Sean Real Live, what's the motherfucking deal? Roman Kemp, what's the motherfucking deal? Let me see. Make sure I ain't forget too many folks. Let me see. I don't want to overlook nobody. Like I say, Asmael, Frank Aldeco, SWAT, Real Live representing the land of the trio. I already know what it do. Clarence, what's the motherfucking deal? What's going on, baby? Let me go right. Bank is open. Bank is activated. So like I say, man, we're going to talk about some things, the biggest problems, the biggest issues the Texans will be facing. And when we're talking about the biggest issues, man, we're not only talking about, you know, possible injuries. We're not talking about just other teams. We're talking about the whole spectrum, you know, all possibilities that could cause a bit of a hiccup, things that may not have been tended to, that have been overlooked, or, you know, things that we just think will become a problem or could be a problem. So let's get into it. So me personally, and I want to know what you guys think. Like I said, I'm going to start this off. I think the biggest issue when you look at this roster and you look at this team, I feel like they did a good job addressing one of two main issues. And that first issue that they did address was the secondary. I felt like they went out and they tried to make some play. They went and got Colvin. We'll see how that pans out. I'm not going to negate him just yet. We'll see what he translates into. They've moved some guys around in the secondary. We know Dakoud and Kareem. But, you know, so that's kind of a wait and see, because like I said, they added the talent with the Honey Badger. But the other big issue as far as personnel that they did not address, in my opinion, is that offensive line. And of course they went out and got some guys, but I don't feel as confident about the guys they went and picked up, because a lot of these guys haven't been starters. A lot of these guys are like a gamble, like Shantrell Henderson. I believe Senio, he was a backup. And then we brought back some guys, that we had on the roster last year that we weren't the biggest fans of. Outside of Greg Manx and Nick Martin, I don't know if I have a whole lot of confidence in the rest of the offensive line. And I'm not saying that I think they're going to be trash, but again, it's another wait and see. But I feel better about waiting and seeing on that secondary than I feel about the offensive line. I'd like to know y'all's opinion, and either one of you guys can go first. How do you feel about the Texans and the offensive line issues they currently have? Do you feel confident about the moves they made, or do you feel like in 2018 that might be what gets the Texans exposed?
You got this, Darren, or you want me to start?
No, go ahead, Hector. Go ahead.
I mean, for starters, I think, I think we talked about this before, Honcho, but I think this is the one time I'm not really that worried about the offensive line. I mean, I still care about it, and I really do want this offensive line to be top notch, because the fact is that last thing I want to see is another quarterback injury. But I think because of Deshaun Watson, there's at least some sort of confidence that for the O-line, at least, that they know that even if they don't necessarily have their best game out there, Deshaun Watson will make them look good. And I think to me that kind of at least alleviates a little bit of the pressure on as far as the offensive line. But yeah, I mean, the guys that they brought in are not eye-catching in any way. But I mean, if you look at it like a rotation type look, I think you're like, okay, maybe it's not horrific. It's not great, but it's not terrible either. I think at the end of it all with the offensive line.
Okay. All right. Well, how do you feel, Darren? How do you feel about the offensive line situation?
It's not up to par as where most Texans fans would want, but I mean, at least we're not trotting Kendall Lamb out there.
Well, let's not say that yet. Look, he's still on the roster, baby. Look. Let's not say that.
I know.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Y'all hear it?
Dang.
Seriously, man.
Knocking on wood.
But I mean, of course, it's not. We didn't go out and go get the names that everybody has been saying. Like Andrew Norwell. Even though I don't know how the Jags managed to give him a 5-year deal. We just didn't make the moves to fortify the offensive line. And I mean, if you're a Texans fan, you're probably thinking, oh man, this is a David Carr situation all over again. And time will tell if those guys, those guards that we signed, time will tell if they pan out or not. But hopefully we're not having to see Deshaun Watson just run for his life every play, because one game, the games in particular that will show it are the Jacksonville games. And I know fans probably don't want to hear that, but Jayville, they got a strong D line, and if that offensive line don't come with it, Watson's gonna have to run.
Okay. But I agree with you, man. And that's something that we do have to discuss, is that Jacksonville does have a solid D line, a team that we're going to face twice. We saw what happened. I mean, in the very beginning of the season last year, with the kind of patchwork line that we had. And Houston B brings up a great point, man. He says he's so more worried about the chemistry because of the lack of experience with each other, but you're confident they'll get better as the season progresses. And that's the thing, because an offensive line has to be able to perform as a unit. When the Texans did have all those Pro Bowlers, it was because they understood and they knew how each other operated. Well, like I say, with these guys, been a lot of guys that's going to be their first time playing with each other. A lot of these guys who have been here, again, there's going to be some new pieces next to them. It's going to take a little bit of time to get that unit to be fully cohesive. So that's something that does bother me. Again, we saw Deshaun Watson at his best with a clean pocket. Of course, not all quarterbacks are just good, but we saw him at his best with a clean pocket. And so I hopefully that's not a situation that we see a lot of again next year, where you had to kind of run for his life, because we wanted that to be only in emergency situations. We know that he can thrive. We know that he has the ability to do those things. But again, it only takes one wrong play, and we can be back in the same situation that we were in last year. But again, knock on wood, we definitely don't want to do that. But you say you think that the old line will be okay, say as far as the interior goes, have enough turds to throw at the wall. Yeah, I'm not as worried about the interior as much as I am about the tackles, because I think that it's going to be very interesting. Davenport, I'm not necessarily just doubting him. I think he has the heart. I think that he has the size. But again, I think it's just a matter of him getting a little bit more experience. Again, like this reason that Kendall Lamb is still on this roster, I don't even know why. I think that's just a waste of a roster spot, in my opinion. But like I say, I don't pay these guys, and I don't make the decisions, and I don't make the draft picks. So we'll have to see. But yeah, that's probably the only tackle that I'm necessarily confident. Of course, we got some other guys who with that key word that the Texans have been using this year with versatility. But I think it's also better for guys to have a home, like they mentioned with Honey Badger, so they know what it is they're expected to do. They can hone in on that and thrive in that position. Another big hurdle, or a concerning hurdle, in my opinion, that I think the Texans will have to take a look at, or not even take a look at, but it could be a thing. This is going to be year 3. JJ's coming back from an injury. And so, we've had elbows, we've had backs, we have legs and knees now. How big of a concern is JJ Watt's health and what he can contribute to this defense, in y'all's opinion?
I think as far as like the workload for JJ is at this point is kind of gone a little down now. Not because injuries could be another reason, but I think with Clowney, with all the defensive players that they now have, especially in the defensive front, it alleviates a lot for JJ. I mean, I still think that he's going to be someone's going to get double and triple teamed just because it's the name. But there's now other players to worry about in the defensive line. Just like there's other players in the linebacker core that they're gonna have to worry about. So JJ Watt's gonna be kind of a, I guess you could say, could be now in the back burner of a lot of teams' concerns as far as offensive line. But I think JJ Watt can at least have some relief knowing that it's not all on him to make a big play. Especially with the way Clowney and Merciless have stepped up phenomenally without him. I think a lot of the pressure is off of him, and hopefully, he could just at least just hope to just stay healthy, and contribute to the defense, as we all hope that this defense will be a big dominant force, especially now with Romeo Cornell back.
Okay.
Yes, indeed.
So, what do you have any specific exact thoughts on Watt there and his return? Darren, how do you feel? What do you feel like? Is that going to be an issue? Do you feel like he returns to form, or are you concerned, with the wear and tear that's been put on his body?
If this was maybe 6-7 years ago, I would be worried. But with the technology that we have and how they heal, how they get these players, back to full health and all that good jazz. To be honest, I'm not too worried about it, and mainly because we've seen guys get hurt, and it's football. It's a contact sport. It happens year in and year out. Hell, even Tom Brady got hurt for a year and whatnot. But not too much worried about it. Like Hector said, when you got Clowney, who stayed healthy, all of last year, and of course, with Whitney going down, that was a freak accident. Like, who could have predicted that? Just to sum it up, I don't. That's not a major concern for me.
Okay. Now, stepping away from kind of on the field stuff. Give me 1 second. I have to sneeze here. Pardon me.
Bless you.
Thank you very much.
Salud, senor. Salud.
Yes. Thank you. Gracias. So, Knight, something that we haven't discussed in a while, and as time goes on, it becomes a bit more concerning. How much does the Clowney contract or lack thereof concern you? How much do you feel that that's an issue? Do you feel like it gets done before the season? Do you feel like there's any potential of a holdout or anything of the sort? How do you think the Texans end up handling this situation? How do you feel that Clowney also handles his end of this situation? I'd like to know your thoughts on that. Let's start with Darren on that one.
Again, it doesn't concern me because knowing the Texans, I mean, I feel like out of all the lessons that they've learned throughout history, they don't want to see the Mario Williams effect happen again. Now, I know some people may say, well, Mario, he was hurt and he didn't do too well and all that good jazz. But when he left, last time I checked, he had what, double-digit sacks? I think 2 or 3 years back to back, something like that. And he was a good force on that Buffalo defense, and I don't think the Texans want to relive that situation again. So I think they get it done this time.
Okay. How about you, Heck? How do you feel about the Clowney contract situation? If it gets handled before the season, do you think it becomes an issue if it's not handled before the season, or how do you see it all playing out?
I think that they will get the deal done before the season starts. I mean, it'll probably be during the preseason. The only thing is that this is all on Brian Gaine if he doesn't get this deal done, because the thing is you said that this was your priority. That's what you said in your little press conference, unless you were just spitting hot air. I mean, this was what you said. This was your priority. You were gonna get him paid, and everyone's kind of waiting for this to happen because, you haven't made any other signings lately, so everyone's just kind of waiting for this Clowney contract to happen. You already paid McKinney, and now it's Clowney's time to get his check, but I still think it's gonna get done. I just think it's just gonna be just a matter of waiting kind of thing, but I still think it's gonna happen before. At least during the preseason, I think they'll get the deal done.
Okay.
Yeah. Last thing we want is for Brian Gaines to pull that move that the Warriors GM did, talking about, we'll pay him whatever he wants, and then a few weeks later, no, we can only give him this much. Let's hope that shit don't happen.
Yeah. Like I said, I don't think they're too worried about it. I think if they're gonna pay him, they're gonna get the right price. But again, like I see, I don't want to refer to him, but the real family, he did make a comment, because you got Mac and Donald, they're going to be getting paid soon. And I think that if they get paid, that could have an effect on the price. What's the motherfucker?
You definitely want to beat them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you definitely want to beat them because, like, Donald or the other, I mean, they'll set the tone. And that's the thing. Last thing you want to do is, you want to be the one to set the price tag. You don't want to have to go off of somebody else. And I still think they'll get the Clowney deal done. It's not like I won't freak out unless we're like into the season. And I mean, the Texans don't normally make deals in the middle of the season anyway, so I'm pretty sure they'll get it done.
Okay. Now I see Devontae saying that we don't need Clowney water reading. I'm like, oh man, I said you trying to decimate us there, man. We gonna remember we're gonna make sure you keep that thought. I want to know why you feel that way. We'll have the sauce line opened up here a little bit later on in the stream, and I want you to, if you got some time, you have the ability, please call in and spill some sauce on that. But so we'll save that thought. Probably we got about 15 minutes or so left in the stream. We'll make sure to open up the line, and I would definitely love to hear your opinion on that. Brad, you say you don't think Clowney gets signed until Donald sets the market? Okay.
No, you don't. Trust me, you don't want that to happen because those dudes, they have had statistical better years than Clowney. You don't want that to happen because then that could potentially put us in a situation where if they get like 120 mil, shit, Clowney gonna be like, I was the first overall pick.
But see, you don't want that. Here's the deal, though. Now that might be a good point, though. If you do let, say, Donald, if they've had statistically better years, then that allows you to play the card. Well, hey, you haven't reached, this, and this, while these guys have. Again, I think the thing that hurts Clowney, we sit here and we talk about, he hasn't had the double digits and all that. The fact that they've tried to play him all over the place, and he's not just purely a pass rusher. you know, when these guys are basically just trying to get to the ball, just trying to get to the quarterback, they're not dropping in coverage. They're not, you know, doing anything of the sort. So Clowney may not have the same number of opportunities there. So that may be his counter argument. Well, hey, you guys are, you know, I'm more versatile. You guys have me playing in multiple positions. And, you know, I think that is something that you absolutely have to consider. But it'd be very interesting because I think they may try to play that card. If they do, let Donald set the mark, and they can say, hey, well, you know, you haven't done this, 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 and this. But, you know, he may try to use the Pro Bowl argument or whatever it may be. And again, so I think it can kind of go either way. I think it's a situation you don't really want to get in. I think you would rather, like you said, set the tone as opposed to, you know, letting someone else have the opportunity to do so. Shout out to Chandler, man. He texted in on the sauce line, says, I got a question. Do you see the O-line improving or not? Or do you think what do you think about the tight end situation? All right, we'll discuss the tight ends here shortly, and that's actually a pretty interesting question too. And that could be another thing. Actually, we can talk about that right now. The O-line, though, like I said, I'm not as concerned about the interior. We mentioned it just a little bit about, you know, Davenport, and again, I think he just needs continued experience, and he'll improve. And then, like I say, the right is going to be the issue. I don't know about Rankins. I know a lot of people say they like Rankin, but to me, Rankin's footwork is kind of suspect. And then again, he was a guy that improved the farther in you pushed him, the better he got. So if he struggled a little bit on the collegiate level with holding that outside rush, it may be a problem for him at this level, especially as a rookie. But again, like, he may develop, and I'm sure there's potential for him to do that. I just don't know about him coming in and being a tackle as a rookie or a starter. The tight end situation is also quite interesting. We lost C.J. Fedorowicz, who was starting to blossom into a solid starting tight end. He was no Gronk or anything like that, so we're not going to, you know, get out of control with it. But, you know, he was starting to develop again. He looked good with
I mean, he was finally catching.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. He looked good with 17, and Lord knows how good he may have looked with Watson, but again, he just never had the opportunity. The tight end situation, with what we have on this roster, we have Anderson, who is kind of a tweener. We have Griffin, who has a couple of years' experience. We saw him and Watson have a couple of good connections. Then you got two guys who are somewhat interesting. A later round pick in Thomas, and then Akins, who a lot of people feel was a reach. But Akins almost kind of gives you what Anderson gives you a little bit. I think he has a little bit bigger body, but not too much different. Like I said, and it could be peculiar because I don't necessarily see us with a great blocking tight end, and maybe that becomes a problem. But then again, you know, we saw the Texans bring an extra lineman, do some blocking a lot last year, so that may be a method that they employ. But how do you guys feel currently about the tight end situation with the Texans? Do you feel like we have a solid group? Do you feel like it's going to take some development, or do you feel like we got some guys that go out there and make some plays right away?
It's a little bit of everything of what you just said, all into one package. And the reason why I say that is because look at the guys that we brought in, like Akins. Don't quote me on this, but I'm just trying to take a peek into Bill O'Brien's mind with the player that he got. Knowing that, you know, we don't really use the fullback as much, I can see Bill O'Brien implementing some of those tight ends at that spot and using them as, you know, pass catching options out of the backfield. You know, like sort of like how we used James Casey, and I forget the other dude's name at the current moment, but I feel like that's the kind of direction that we're going in as far as the offense goes.
Okay. What about you, Heck? How do you feel about it?
I mean, like you said, there's not like one that you look at and you're like, oh, that's a blocking tight end or anything specifically like that. But I mean, if they're gonna run the spread, you definitely look like you kind of have like the personnel that could benefit from that. So I mean, the tight ends, I think, is gonna be a work in progress. But I think when you have a quarterback like Deshaun Watson, and you do see that there is some good communication between him and Ryan Griffin. Which I'm not really personally a fan of Ryan Griffin, to be honest. I like Steven Anderson more.
Hashtag me neither.
But I mean, like I think that just goes back to the fact that like I think Deshaun Watson does make everybody else better around him, and so with the tight end group, I'm pretty content with it. Would I like a blocking tight end? But I think you can teach these guys to be more of a blocking tight end, and if not, then you can just add another lineman and put them at the tight end spot. And I mean, and then there's still the whole spread, the spread formation type scenarios.
Okay. So, again, with I think that leads to us to that key word of versatility. The Texans, they're loving that. So we talked briefly about, the two position groups that were our biggest concerns and how we felt that the Texans addressed one mainly. But there's another particular player. Give me just a second here. A particular player in the secondary who I know a lot of people have very little love for. I know that, I've doubled down on the crow on one Kevin
Is
Johnson.
his Instagram Simba Kev?
Yes. So I've doubled down on the crow, and I'm saying that Kevin Johnson is going to do something. I feel like he just went through a very interesting period, dealing with injuries, dealing with a one and done DC, which is, I don't know how that happens from DC to HC, but whatever. And I felt like his defensive coordinator was inexperienced. It wasn't putting him in the best positions, as far as what his skill set was. And then again, like I say, I think he was off mentally because, just really trying to get back from the injuries. And, but the Texans said, okay, we're going to go ahead and pick up that option. We got faith in you. We believe in you. What do you see happening with Kevin Johnson this year? Do you see him in a cornerback 2 role, or do you see, him totally falling off and Colvin being the second corner? What do you guys honestly feel about Kevin Johnson and how he ends up performing this year?
For the first time in a long time, I'm hopping. Well, I ain't gonna say first time in a long time. I'm hopping on this train with that, Kevin Johnson bounces back. And my reason for that is, for one, Rack is back as the defensive coordinator. So you got to start there. He's going to put those guys in the natural position to make those plays. Not to mention you got a front seven coming back that's fully healthy. So quarterback's not going to have all day to just sit back there, have a picnic, smoke a blunt. No, I'm just playing. Or, you know what I'm saying? They're not going to have the time to do all that shit back there. So, I'm on that train as far as Kevin Johnson. He has a bounce back. Yeah, he has that bounce back year.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Kevin Johnson will be better this year. I don't know where he'll be starting. That to me, I think, is where how he does in this summer. In this summer, pretty much all he does, especially in preseason. I think, especially the fact that you have Romeo Crennel, who is actually a defensive coordinator, not a linebacking coach trying to figure out how to run a defense. It does work better. And, I mean, you saw how great this secondary was with Romeo Crennel. And I think that there's going to be a better discipline. I mean, I don't think we'll see that many fouls called on Kevin Johnson as much as he did last year. So I think there's going to be a discipline with the secondary, and it's gonna make him look a lot better for next year. And I mean, I think all the guys around they're going to be pieces for Romeo Crennel to use and put them in plays that would best benefit them. So and Romeo Crennel, I think we all have faith in Romeo Crennel, and I think that's what makes us feel more secure about the secondary.
Okay. All right, Dan, I think so too, man. The return of Romeo is definitely, like I say, you mentioned the X factor. I saw Broderick say that. That's definitely something that we have to account for because, again, for some reason everybody wants to just overlook how, in my opinion, poorly Mike Vrabel coached last year or whatever. But somehow, some way, he's the leader of men and all that other good rhetoric that they use. They'll attribute him his success with the defense the prior years, but not what he actually did when he had the responsibility. But that's not our problem anymore. That's gone up to Meth Mountain. So a couple of things that I've seen mentioned in the chat, and it's another point that I want to get on because a lot of people, even though I've heard some good things, and I've heard that he's looking a little bit better, a little bit crisper, he's looking a bit more decisive, and we're talking about Lamar Miller. A lot of people aren't fans of Miller. And again, Miller is a solid back, and that's what I say. A lot of people I don't think understand what's really going on with him. In my opinion, Miller is a solid back because, I mean, I just think to that comeback against Indy and some of the plays that he made, and just, I mean, if he has the right scheme around him, the right situation, and the right play calling, which is on Bill O'Brien, Miller can be a success. If he can get to the outside instead of trying to run him up the middle consistently for some reason where he's not going to thrive, you know, he can make plays. There's a huge difference in his yardage numbers as running opposed to the outside as opposed to running him inside. But Miller's not the problem that we're talking about, but we're going to speak a little bit more on him in just a second. But I want to talk about the second guy that we're having a lot of hope for, you know, the hometown guy or the local guy, the Texas native, and that's D'Onta Foreman. Now, the Achilles injury is serious, and it's something that, you know, it can go either way. But again, you know, Darren mentioned, hey, we got all this technology now that guys can bounce back better than ever. You can get these bionic limbs and things attached and, you know, all that good stuff. But let's be serious for a second and address the Foreman situation. Again, this is a second-year guy, missed a good chunk at the end of the season, you know, after starting to blossom, actually starting to look like he was solid. How do you guys see Foreman this year? Does he return to form? Is he going to be a little lackluster, or do you think it's going to take him a little while before, if he ever returns to what we are hoping that he can be?
I want them to take their time with Foreman. I mean, obviously, you know, I feel like we want him to be the running back of the future. I think that's the end goal for Foreman. So I mean, for this injury, I would definitely want to take my time to make sure he's completely 100%. And I mean, Lamar Miller, he is a serviceable running back. I think he gets the job done, and I think that I guess that's why people don't really care too much for Lamar Miller, because he's not like you know, like anything special, or I guess you could say. But sometimes, you know, simplicity has its value, and I think Lamar Miller, he gets the job done, and I think, and it is kind of, I keep going back to Deshaun Watson, he just makes everybody better. I think this opens up the running game because of the passing game that the Texans are going to have for Lamar Miller to be able to have more breakout runs. And, you know, I think maybe him running off of that spread type offense might actually do him a little bit better than being run down the middle every single play.
Okay.
As far as the Foreman injury, I'm in complete agreement with Hector. You definitely got to take your time with that, because you don't want to rush him back out there and then he gets hurt and then you're trying to figure out what are we going to do. So you don't want to rush him back from that. Now, I'm not going to lie. Lamar Miller was special. I will say this, because he was special against us when he played us. That's what made us go sign his ass.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? Like, so I'm the first to say it. As much as I've been saying we should trade him, I'm going to say it on record. He is special, because that's why we got him. But like Honcho was saying, you know, he's more effective as an outside runner than he is an inside runner. But when you look at our offensive line, it's the exact opposite. We have decent interior guys, and the tackles aren't really there. So good luck running to the outside. It's, I don't know. It's like it's a conundrum within itself, basically, because you want to be able to run to the outside, but you don't have the personnel on the O-line to make that happen. So, you know, Miller is the one that's really paying for it at the end of the day. So, like I said, it could go tit for tat if we go and get, you know, better tackles. Who knows? We could probably see him looking more like old boy from Atlanta. If not, then he'll continue to look like how he's looked the last few years.
Okay. Maybe 1 second, updating the conversation here. So it's very interesting because like we talked about Miller and we talked about, you know, how he looks. And again, you know, we kind of attribute that, you know, you can talk about personnel. But when it comes down to it, who's the man calling the plays? We're talking about the head coach and the play caller himself, which I know a lot of people felt like the Texans should have went out and got an OC. And I want to talk about it. Could that be a hindrance? Could this be a hurdle? We saw Bill O'Brien kind of develop a little bit as a play caller last year. But then again, it's almost like, is that Bill O'Brien or was that Deshaun Watson's play? And a little bit, I almost want to lean more in a couple of instances to Deshaun Watson's play, because we saw the clip. We've seen him multiple times. He's like, I don't know what he's doing out there, but he's on fire. He's good. He's hot.
He's hot.
Yeah. And so, that crazy shit. But, and if the coach don't know what he's doing and he's balling, that means you can't attribute that to the coach, But let's talk about Bill O'Brien's play calling and kind of whether or not he should have been in pursuit of an offensive coordinator. So we saw, like I say, we saw a little bit of growth, it seems like. Again, we don't know where to attribute all of that love. Like I say, is it more Watson? Is it a little bit of both? Whatever. And like I say, I'll get y'all's opinion on that. But I want to know how you guys feel about this year. Do you see, because he said he's going to change some things up and, going to cater some stuff. And then you have a second-year Watson who said that his mind is much clearer now because he wasn't as nervous, and he said light years ahead of where he was. And if the man says he's light years, I believe he's light years. With that combination, it's again, I think it might be a little bit tough to see who you attribute that to. But how do you guys feel about going into this season, knowing Bill O'Brien historically, how he's called plays, and if you feel he should have went out to go and get an offensive coordinator, or are you comfortable with him continuing to call the plays this year?
It's 50-50, and mostly my reason for saying that is because we all saw it when Deshaun Watson, once he got inserted into the lineup, we instantly went from averaging 14 points to over 35. So it goes hand in hand, because Bill O'Brien was calling the plays, but Deshaun Watson was the guy having to go out there and execute those plays. Now, I'm pretty sure, just like in anybody who's played football, they know, okay, if you go out there and you have this look, this is your read. You go out there and you see this look, you have this read. I'm pretty sure Bill O'Brien is going over that constantly, showing him, Aaron Rodgers film, and, just constantly going over those things with him like that. So, like I said, it goes hand in hand, and it's 50-50.
Okay.
I'm gonna kind of go into this whole thing that, like, I think Bill O'Brien we should just see what Bill O'Brien does as far as calling the plays. Like I said, if he doesn't have a good year this year, this could be his last year with the Texans. So if he's gonna do it, go all out. He has no excuses this year to come up with, because he has a quarterback. And I mean, Bill O'Brien did do some things to hinder some of the big opportunities for the Texans, but at the same time, you saw some type of evolution with Bill O'Brien. I don't think I've ever seen the Texans ever run the pistol formation under Bill O'Brien, and I mean that's huge of its own. We saw some RPO. So I
think they ran a little bit with Case Keenum, but don't quote me on that.
You can quote it.
It was, but it wasn't really. It was a lot of play action. And then, I mean, there was that one Aaron Foster touchdown throw that he had. But, I mean, you see a little bit more creative plays from that Bill O'Brien. And that could just be Deshaun Watson taking over or something like that. But, I mean, you could see that Bill O'Brien knows what he's getting from Deshaun Watson. And I think he's more and more trying to benefit his style of play. And so, I mean, I think let Bill O'Brien make the play calls. And then last thing you want to do is add a new offensive coordinator and have Deshaun Watson learn a new offense.
True. Now, going forward, and not to cut you off, Honcho, if Bill O'Brien wants to keep his job, I will say this: we can't have no more of those. What happened in New England or what happened in Seattle? We can't have that shit no more. You can't. If you just can't. If you got the ball, put it in your quarterback's hands and trust the man. Trust him. Y'all spent 2 first-round picks to go up and get the man. Trust the man. As DeAndre Jordan said, trust the goddamn process.
We see where DeAndre Jordan is. We'll go with Joel Embiid's process because DeAndre Jordan process didn't quite work out well for him. All right, so there's one more topic that I want to touch on, and then we're going to open up the sauce line. And I see a lot of people saying, it's more personnel. It's and I definitely agree. I mean, because again, if this was the idea that Bill O'Brien had all along, why didn't he seek out more mobile guys? Unless they believe that Assweiler was the mobile giraffe, but I don't think that was the case. So maybe this has opened his eyes to a new light and some other things. Now I want to talk about the biggest hurdle that the Texans faced all of last year. It wasn't a particular person. It wasn't a particular team. It wasn't a particular scheme or anything like that. It was injuries. Now, they've gone out and they've addressed the problem by acquiring a new strength coach. And the guys, and we hear it all around, we feel better, we feel younger, we feel, this and we feel that. They've revamped the workout room. They've changed up I think the kitchen and stuff too. Apparently they said there's been a lot of changes around Reliant that we won't see. Wonder why they made those changes so fast and took them forever to fucking fix that fucking field. And it's still kind of sketchy. But how do you guys see it playing out? I think last year was a record year for injuries. Some of those, again, like I say, soft tissue situations and things like that. Do you see injuries becoming a recurring thing with some of the guys that went down, or do you feel like acquiring this new strength coach is going to alleviate a lot of that? And again, concussions is a thing is just going to be hit or miss, but do you see most of these situations being alleviated by the acquiring of the new strength coach?
Yes, I do. Have you guys seen Will Fuller? Yes, I do. These dudes, man, whatever this new strength and conditioning coach or coaches, whatever they got going, let's keep it going, because we can't have these soft tissue injuries and whatnot. Let's call it for what it is, man. People around the league, they don't respect when you getting soft tissue injuries or whatnot. If you go and you get a concussion, or if you break your arm or leg, they might feel bad for you because it was something that was caused by the other person. But if these soft tissue injuries, man, that's basically saying you soft, bro. Come on, we can't have these soft tissue injuries no more, because it just makes the team look soft. So no, with this new, and I know that may seem a little extreme for some folks, but I just gotta call it for how it is, man. Like I said earlier, if you seen the Will Fuller pictures and updates and whatnot, I'm not too big on talking about another man and his body and whatnot, but the dude then jacked up, and whatever they got going on in that strength and conditioning program, the whole team need to be on it, and JJ need to be on it times two, so he damn sure don't get injured no more.
Okay. Now with the Will Fuller thing, before I let you answer, the Will Fuller thing, though, I do believe he's actually gone in there and got with an outside source, hasn't he? I think that's something else he's been doing, because he's been out there running dunes and doing some other weird shit. But like I say,
as long as it's not 9 innovations, that's all I gotta say.
Oh man!
As long as it's not 9 innovations, we'll be fine.
Yeah, do your thing. Look, but so
I feel bad. They were trying to make me work with them.
Shit. Okay. Y'all heard it here first from World Series Hector. Don't be fuck with that 9 innovations, because you're gonna be in a bad situation. We're gonna have 9 situations. So.
Right.
Oh man, but so how are your thoughts on that though, Hector? With the strength and conditioning, the injury situation, do you see it being a recurring thing? Do you feel like a lot of that will be alleviated with the current strength and conditioning guy, or how do you see it playing out?
I mean, they say that this guy's the best in the business, and he has some state-of-the-art system or whatever. I don't know the specifics of it, but apparently he's really good at his job. And I mean, you can even look at Denver and how their team was healthy. I mean, they were terrible, but they were healthy. And but so you got to take that into consideration. I think health was god awful. I think if there was a record, I think we broke it. Yeah. For most injuries in the season. I mean, shoot, I think one game we were playing with 3 wide receivers, no tight ends. maybe like negative quarterbacks. I don't know. Like you lose count at some point.
Oh man, yeah.
I'm like looking. I actually made a bet. I was like, man, Shane Leckler's gonna be QB.
Oh Lord.
Yeah, when you're in any situation where Leckler is warming up, getting ready to go out and play some quarterback, you're in a bad spot. And okay, before we open up the sauce line here, I just want to know, honestly, it was a bad record and everything that went into it. How much of that do you, again, the blame is on B.O.B because you got to coach the team you have. But with all those injuries, how much blame do you remove from Bill O'Brien, or do you still put the total weight of that whole season on his shoulders?
I will give the injuries like some of the blame. I mean, it's one thing to work with what you got, but like when what you got is Tom Savage and Heineke and Shane Leckler getting to get his arm ready to go. I mean, like, you can only do so much. I think, I don't think any of us would be able to do anything with that roster if we were in that position. Sure, you could probably do it in Madden if you had it on easy mode or something, but it's just this was definitely. I definitely would say you gotta at least put the injuries as part of it, but you could also say, because Bill O'Brien, he did hire that strength and conditioning coach, and so it's a personnel thing as well. But I'll give injuries part of the blame, but at the same time, Bill O'Brien should have at least done something about it when you're looking at like half your rosters not even able to play.
Okay. Yeah, definitely. Oh, breaking news: Brandon Browner just got arrested on multiple charges. Has nothing to do with us, but just had to mention that. I saw that come in. It's been a lot of. Is the ticker back up? Who used to have the ticker for the off-season arrests? Was that ESPN that used to do that? Who used to do that shit? Like they'd go how many days between arrests that the NFL had in the off-season or some off-the-wall shit like that. But
I thought that was San Francisco 49ers.
Oh shit, just the whole. God damn it, they got their own fucking bail company and that motherfucker. So here's the deal. All right, so if you guys want to call in, all right, we're gonna crank the sauce line open for a little while, and we will get your thoughts. You guys can call in and yes, hit that like button, man. If you're new to this, you ain't true to this, hit that subscribe button, man. Like I said, we do this every night. We talk and we stir up sauce from the Texans to the Rockets, and I'm gonna have to start paying Hector so he can talk more Astros because he already affiliated with all the clubs. So I'm gonna have to look. Sauce Sports gonna have to start breaking bread so we can get him to get some of that inside scoop from the local organizations. But like I said, we're gonna start covering more things. Like I say, we just, it's a lot of stuff going on right now in the background. So I'm just trying to get a lot of things organized. But trust me, it's only to improve the flavor in the long term, to be able to do some other things. So, like I say, the sauce line is activated. If y'all have some thought, and while we're discussing that, while we're seeing if anybody calls in, I'm mad, man. I've been telling you, I've been looking for a number, trying to get the right number for the Kush line, because I was going to open up a Kush line, and I had it today, and I was checking everything out, and I saw the number, like, cool. And I was just kind of doing a little bit of background on the company just to make sure everything was legit that I was about to get into. And I was going in to go buy it, and the number had been taken. And, I mean, in a matter of minutes. So that's just a message to make snap decisions, react, don't bullshit when you have opportunity in front of you. Take that motherfucking shit, because I'm mad about it. Because it was a Houston number, and it ended in Kush for the Kush Den. So now I'm kind of stuck. I might have to use a California number to do it. We'll see. I haven't decided yet. But no, you took the number, Cavity Creep. But now I was like I say. But speaking of Kush Den, though, there probably won't be a Kush Den tonight. We'll get back at it tomorrow. May possibly be in the mixer action tonight. If y'all got that going. If y'all fuck with the mixer, probably be fucking with the payday in that. Like I say, if y'all acting like y'all scared to get activated on the sauce line, man. If nobody's gonna call in, we're gonna start winding things. Oh, hold on. Let me see what we got shaking here. Have a look. Let me make sure I got the right shit in. I'm gonna be talking about hello, hello, can't hear shit. Like I told you, that's why I posted that meme. All right, let's see. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line this evening?
What's up, Honcho? It's Chandler. I got a question for you guys. I know you guys been talking about the Texans lately, but I got a question on the Rockets. There's this guy who went undrafted, and his name's Evan Duvall from Duke University, and they're comparing him to like Russell Westbrook and Kyrie Irving, and that was my question to you guys. So bye.
Okay. Man, appreciate you calling. Shout out to Chandler, man. Chandler be holding the sauce down like glue, man. I always appreciate that love when Chandler calls in. He's always the first to text every time we go live. So I appreciate that, man. I sincerely appreciate that, Chandler, holding down the flavor. Yeah, I've heard a lot of talk about the Trayvon Duvall guy. And I want to say the other night, I didn't see what happened today because Comcast, they're doing something fucking stupid. I need to call and see why they got my box all fucked up. But I don't ever watch fucking cable. Like, that bitch is collecting dust. They don't even be plugged in half the time. So I plugged in. I was going to go watch the fucking Summer League game. And fucking that bitch was talking about some problem. I didn't even feel like calling. So I'm going to call him after the stream. So I don't know how he played tonight. But I've heard the comparisons. I want to say he was supposed to be like the 5th or 6th best kid coming out of high school when he went to Duke. But the thing that I heard with the problem with him was that he had a real stiff-ass shot. And so a lot of people kind of fell out of favor with him because they were saying that his shot was really bad. And so they kind of said he was really one-dimensional. But again, I'm sure the Rockets have plenty of people who can work with him on that, getting mentored by, CP3. Hard that, if he does make the roster, make the cut. It'll be very interesting to see what happens. And the other night, he shot 7 for 10 and was 2 for 2 from 3. So, talking about that, they were talking about he doesn't have a 3-point shot. Apparently, he was hitting the other game. But again, that's summer league play, and we're not talking about against the best of the best. So we'll see how that all pans out. You guys have any opinions on Trayvon Duvall?
Not really.
No, I don't. I mean, he's explosive. That's about it.
Okay. We got another call coming in on the sauce line. What's the motherfucking deal, man? Who we got calling in on the sauce line this evening?
Hello. This is Houston Homer.
Okay.
I just want to say, Jotty at the next great dash. Hello. Yeah. He's not famous. Don't be touching my brother, okay? Okay? You fuck you up, you little nigga. Okay?
Okay, my friend. Let me hang up on you right now. Let me answer your phone call. Thank you very much. Y'all be with the fucking shenanigans, man. But yes, man. The Trayvon Duvall.
That's OG3.
Oh, I guess that would help for me to give y'all the sauce line number, right? I'd be thinking y'all just know that shit like it's just because I know it. I'm talking all this shit. Call in. Y'all want to call in? Well, fuck. Honcho, we don't know the fucking number. Asshole. All right, so we'll put that right there on the side. I'm telling y'all, call. Y'all know like I fucking I don't even know the damn sauce line number. I'll be able to pull the shit back up myself, so I'm an asshole for that. Yeah, so look, I'm talking all that shit. Y'all want to call the sauce line? I even put the shit up. God damn. 832-639-DRIP. 832-639-3747. Feel free to call in, text in. Again, your thoughts and your opinions. Let's see, we got calling in on the sauce line. What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling on the sauce line this evening?
Hello, your Honcho.
What's happening?
This is Frank Aldago.
Okay.
So I want to say, with the question about like the biggest hurdles for the Houston Texans, I think is like with the owner. I think that's going to be like the biggest like challenge for them. But you know what I'm saying.
What's the motherfucking deal? We got called on the fucking sauce line. You call it back on 2 lines? Like, what the hell? What's the motherfucking deal?
Yo, what's the motherfucking deal on show? It's Frank from A-Leaf, you know.
Okay.
But I got one question for y'all.
All right.
Well, it's kind of off topic, but this is like a random question I was just thinking about earlier. So you think if the well, I want to ask y'all what y'all think. Do y'all think what would have happened if Texans signed Tony Romo last season? Like, do y'all think we still would have went out and got Watson? Do you think he would have fallen down? What do you think would have happened?
That's actually a pretty good question. That's a bet. I'm going to hang up on you. We're going to talk about that. That's a good question. Appreciate you calling in. All right. All right. That's actually a pretty good question, okay, because there was the conversation here. Let me write that down, and we'll answer this call, and then we'll answer some of these. What's the motherfucking deal we got calling in?
No, this is Chandler again. I got one last question. There's been some rumors in like on Twitter, on Facebook lately. Is there any way we can get Carmelo Anthony? And I'm just seeing like rumors and updates on that. That was my question to you guys.
Okay, cool. We definitely will address that. I'm gonna hang up on you. We had another call coming in, but I'm gonna definitely answer that. I appreciate you calling in. All right, I seen a call just came in. We missed it. We'll take that last call, and then I'll pause the sauce line for just a bit so we can address a couple of these if whoever that was wants to call back in. There we go. Take this last one, and then we'll address all these points. I got them written down, so we'll make sure that everybody gets a chance.
Hello?
What's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line?
Hello, this is Houston Homer.
All right, what you
I
got?
just wanted to say, Honcho, you so sexy and
So, what's the motherfucking deal? Who we got calling in on the sauce line this evening? I already knew that shit was coming. I was ready to hit the switch button. What's the motherfucking deal?
What's up, Honcho? First off, I want to know. I'm looking at the chat, and I see a lot of people trolling. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah.
But I want to ask a question about Deontay Foreman. Like, I know, like he's a vital asset to our team, and I really do believe that he have like he's capable of replacing Miller. You said it because he's a fullback, and I don't think as of right now we have the offensive line to protect a running back like Miller. Because we don't utilize them correctly. So, like, what are your thoughts on Foreman and in terms of where he should be?
Okay, that's a bet. Appreciate you calling in, Devontae. I'm gonna hang up. We're gonna address that. I'm gonna make sure we get on all these questions. I'm gonna put the sauce line on pause for a second so that we can get on all these topics. I want to make sure everybody gets their due time to have their thoughts and questions answered. And again, that's what it's all about. I gotta use my damn. Y'all can't be seeing my code and shit, even though y'all can't see the shit. Again, so we're gonna make sure we address that. That's cool. So here's the deal. We'll start with the first one, and we're gonna work our way back down. And the first thing was asked was saying there was an issue with the owner. I don't think the owner's going to be a problem. I mean, it is what it is. I hope that he's not dumb enough to continue running his mouth, regardless of how you feel about either way, but his statements and what he said and whatever he did. If he has any business sense left, he would just kind of shut up, sit back, and quit fueling the controversy, because he was damn near behind a lot of the extra controversy that ran around the NFL. If he'd have been quiet, I think a lot of these other problems would have been alleviated. Again, like I say, regardless of how you feel, what he said, however you feel, if you support him, you don't support him, that's really none of my concern. But as far as this team, if he's smart, he shuts the fuck up so we can have the best opportunity that we can. Just act like he does whenever we lose and just fade to black. Don't show up. Tony Romo. Now that was an interesting question, and I want to know how y'all feel about that one. I kind of have an idea on that, but I'm gonna ask that one to y'all first, since I've been talking a little while, answering calls and things. But we pick up Tony Romo. Do the Texans, are they still in hot pursuit of a young quarterback? Do they still get Deshaun Watson, or do we go in a completely different direction?
That one's tough to call, but just looking at it for what it is and how you got to scale things in the NFL, I still think they would have made that move to go and get Watson, even if we would have signed Tony Romo. Just off of the fact if you was going off of history, then, and especially if you were going off of history and looking at our O-line at that present time, it was going to happen sooner or later. Tony Romo was going to get hurt, and we was going to eventually have to see Deshaun Watson. So, yeah, I still think we would still would have went out and got him. Now, as far as the whole controversy with Savage and all that bullshit of how he took all the ones and all that shit wouldn't have taken place. But yeah, we still would have went out and got Watson.
Okay. Now I'm gonna throw a little monkey wrench in there. Now, at that time, if I'm not mistaken, Dallas still they had the rights over Romo, and they wanted a trade for him. So what pieces would we have had to come off of, and would we still have had the assets to go and get a Deshaun Watson?
Do I have to be in agreement to the trade, or can I give my real answer to that?
I mean, give your real answer. Like I say, it's just all spill your flavor.
I'm gonna tell Jerry Jones, you can kiss my ass. You want to go? I'm not trading for no damn broken Tony Romo. I'll take a chance on one of them convicts you willing to go sign before I'd take that chance. I mean, don't get me wrong. I respect Tony Romo in his game and all the shit that he's done up there and whatnot. But no, I'm not trading for somebody that's broken and you know what I'm saying, or can be potentially broken. That's not a good look.
Okay. That's a bit. Heck, how you feel about the whole Romo situation? And would you have made that play for Romo? And if so, do we still get Deshaun Watson, or do we still have the assets to acquire Deshaun Watson?
If it was to trade for Romo, that's a no for me. But if if they released Romo and we signed him for like a cheap deal, I probably would have taken it. I think it changes the way the Texans approach the draft. Like I don't think personally, I don't think the Watson trade the Watson trade up would have happened. I think they would have probably looked at the offensive line with that pick that they had. But I mean, they still would have drafted a young quarterback. I just don't think it would have been Deshaun Watson.
Okay. All right. Interesting. Look, I'm taking count. I have a certain number in my head, so I saw some people say that y'all want a cushion. If we reach that adequate number of fours, drop a 4 in the chat if y'all want a cushion in. And if we reach the right number that I have in my mind, then we will have a cushion in tonight. But if not, then it will be postponed till tomorrow. Now, Chandler called back, and he had asked a question about a non-football related question, but it's still sauce related. About Carmelo Anthony. I've heard a lot of rumors about Carmelo too. I've heard the rumor that Chris Paul has been telling the Houston Rockets brass to make a play, either trade for him or pick him up if he's available. I wouldn't trade for him. I mean, if the possibility that he's going to get bought out, because I don't think that's official yet. But Chris Paul did officially sign, I want to say today or last night, and it was it's a funny looking situation. Motherfuckers holding their phone lights and shit and all that extra shit.
So like D'Antoni wasn't playing, boy. Look, he extra sign.
Look, D'Antoni will say, "Look, I need it, man. I need it." So, like I say, it's very interesting to see what just pushing so many. Y'all bored now. Y'all pushing all kind of numbers and shit tonight, ain't y'all? But the thing is, like I say, with Carmelo, I'm not the biggest proponent of Carmelo Anthony. I wasn't even necessarily last year, but again, it could be a helpful addition. But I'll take anything over the fucking last white rhino. I'll take anything. I'll take, again, like I told you, I'll take a fucking broken gymnasium chair, the fucking shit they pull out from the dusty closet when you had them meetings in the auditorium and shit in the gym or whatever. You got to fucking put on the battle. I'll take anything. Again, like a fucking semi-pro, I'll trade the washing machine for his motherfucking ass. Look, get some fresh. Give me a washing machine, 2 bottles of Tide, and some dryer sheets. I'll be more than happy to trade that for Rhino. Look, fuck it. At least the jerseys will smell better. But with Carmelo Anthony, man, what the Rockets would be asking him to do is basically, the corner 3. I wouldn't be opposed to it. You got guys who are willing to distribute the ball here, and he's willing to shoot. I don't think we'd ever have a conversation about why didn't Carmelo shoot that shot. like we've had a couple of times with Anderson being hesitant, not having to come. I don't think that would ever be an issue with Carmelo. So in that sense, if the price isn't too high, if the again, like I say, if the situation isn't asking too much to obtain Carmelo, then I would definitely entertain it. So let's see. And the last question that was asked, and this one was by Mr. Devontae Love. Shout out to Devontae Love. And he was talking about the O-line and not really having the pieces to allow Miller to do what he does. Now, I'm curious about the new guys and what possibility they may bring. I definitely think there was an upgrade over what we had. And Foreman and how we feel about Foreman. So we kind of touched on it a little bit briefly. I'm concerned because, again, like we talked about, even though we talked about, bionic legs and all that $6 million man shit, I'm just concerned. Like I say, even if he's back to health, I don't think that's necessarily meaning he's back to optimal health. Even if he's able to play. Again, we have to see what the strength coach brings to the table and all that other stuff, what he has going on externally outside of that. But I think it's going to be a couple of weeks in before we see Foreman. And then also on top of that, I still think it would be another couple of weeks, maybe closer to the end of the season, honestly, before we kind of see him get back to that guy we were starting to see before he went down. So I don't know, honestly, like I'm rooting for him. And I think that, when healthy, that he could be a potential back of the future. But then again, I could look back and say, hey, you remember Ben Tate? Ben Tate had a solid ass year. And I thought, oh man, fuck it. Ben Tate damn near did what Arian did on half the carries. Then you saw him just fall off. So I'm going to be cautious in my praise of Deontay Foreman and seeing where he returns his health. But again, I think if he can return to form and he has a versatile skill set that can do a lot of things. He has the speed, he has the body size to get guys off, and he has the athleticism. And he was the star of the thumbnail today, so shout out to him for that. How do you guys feel about Deontay Foreman and him coming back to form, and is he a better suited running back for what the Texans have as compared to Lamar Miller?
I think he is. I'm kind of going back to what I said. I mean, he's the running back of the future for the Texans. He fits more to what the calls Bill O'Brien when it comes to running plays, which is just running it down the middle. And Foreman's definitely more of a hit you in the mouth type of running back. He's very physical, so it does fit with what O'Brien wants in a running back, I guess. Or at least what he does in the play calling. it makes sense. But I still, with me, it's just I want him to be healthy. So if it takes time, then I'm okay with it. I don't think Lamar Miller is as bad as people think he is. That I think he's going to be at least efficient enough to at least help the offense. And I don't think I think like I said, make sure he's healthy first before we start playing him.
Okay. Darren, you have anything you want to contribute to that thought?
My bad, y'all. Oh man, sorry about that. Got a lot going on, trying to get things situated.
Okay. Do your thing.
But no, what was the question again?
We're talking about Foreman, and is he? Let's make it simplified. A healthy Foreman, is he better suited for the Texans offense than Lamar Miller?
Yeah, but my issue with Foreman, dude, you a 230-pound back. You're not about to just always run past people like you Bo Jackson or something. Lower your shoulders and run.
You cut out a little bit there.
All around, I like Deontay.
You cut out right about what you were saying. Lower your shoulders like you Bo Jack, or run past people like you Bo Jackson or something. And then kind of start cutting out there.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. that's just my thing. You know, if when you're in open space and you just got clear room to run, take off and run and lower your shoulders. You never know if you might get another 5 or 10 yards, or that kind of move could potentially be a touchdown play. You know, because there was a couple times last year when I believe in the Patriots game where he was Watson escaped and he was able to break free, and he just instead of trying to run through the dude, he tried to go around him, and he ended up getting tackled. And like I said, if you in the NFL, you got
yeah, you definitely you're catching some muffled. We can't really understand what you're saying.
There, you got to take them. You can't leave it to.
Yeah, you're cutting out real bad. I can't.
We got a first down.
Okay. You say performance like a college Christian McCaffrey, 1 million yards, no TDs. Here's the deal. All right. And like I said, you kind of missed out on that, but I appreciate you for attempting to answer the question. But here's the deal. We're going to get ready to call it a wrap here. We didn't quite reach the number that I had wrote down for the Cushton. So I'll still debate it, but I'm not necessarily high on it. We'll think about it. But before we get out of here, do you guys have anything that you guys want to say?
Shout out to everybody that's like, you know, obviously like watching the stream and showing support. I mean, you know, this channel is nothing without them. And I mean, we're all, you know, to take the time out of their day to you know, just watch, you know, listen to us talk about sports it always makes you feel good. But I mean, that's all I really have to say. I mean, if you guys like soccer, obviously I'm the one that talks a lot about soccer. I've been covering the World Cup as well as what the Dynamo have been doing, and so I mean, you know, just if you guys like what I'm talking about, I do talk about the Texans. I do talk about the Astros as well. So, you know, if you guys want to follow me, by all means. And fun fact, my last video was actually I was kind of toasted. Not drunk, but I was pretty toasted.
It happens.
Hey, sorry for cutting out, y'all. I'm bringing in groceries.
Okay.
Calls.
Are you're eating groceries there? Okay.
No.
Okay. I'll say you say that for off the stream. Nah, but yeah, definitely, man. Let me. I'm actually trying to find it. I'm gonna pull up the link. I'm sure so to Hector's channel, because man, definitely check it out. Hector has some great takes, and sometimes I have to try to steal some of his soccer sauce. You know what I'm saying? Steal a little bit of Astro sauce. So I definitely think that y'all would like it and enjoy it. Let me find. Oh man, y'all know what? See, look, y'all. I blame y'all because y'all ain't have me give away no sauce. So we're gonna do a little quick raffle. Make it like 2 minutes while we do this. Do 2, and we'll just make it something simple, and we'll get that going. But let me find the link so I can post it in here to share with everybody. Darren, you got anything you want to say to the people before we get out of here?
Thanks for stopping by, y'all. You know, like Hector said earlier, the sauce is nothing without you guys. As you guys can probably hear, my son's going off in the background, but he says hi to everybody in Sauce Nation. Yeah, man, this is nothing without you guys, man. So keep supporting the sauce, man, and we're gonna keep bringing this content, man. We're not stopping, man. We ride as one.
You heard me. All right, here we go. We got the link right here, and we'll hit that right here. So y'all have a link to Hector's channel, man, and so that way no excuses. Y'all can definitely go check that out. Probably look one of the more active Sauce Nation members, because everybody else want to be lazy, especially the laziest motherfucker in the world, Rising Phoenix. I just have to say that. Just because he over there looking like a ex-Texan quarterback don't mean he ain't got to make no more videos and shit. But what? That's what I'm saying. Boy, be putting in work, man. That's what I'm saying. Look, he representing for America on the motherfucking 4th. If y'all ain't checked that out, you got to check out the you got to go check out the picture, man. I thought that was very entertaining. But
I was also drunk on that picture.
you gotta do the America. But with that being said, man, look, here's the deal. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Again, I'll think about it, man. Like I say, if y'all aren't following on Instagram, on Twitter, Soft Sports HTX, if y'all just following, fuck with your boy Honcho, Ed Honcho HTX. I tend to post, whether or not, the shows and everything are going on both of those. And if you fuck with the Cushden, I forgot the Cushden, _Cushden on Twitter, and it's something on Instagram. It's something completely different on Twitter. I don't remember right now. But y'all follow. If not, I'll let y'all know on one of the platforms if I change my mind. I'm still leaning in the no category as far as doing a dinner night, but we'll see, man. We'll see. If y'all want, we might make it happen. But with that being said, I appreciate each and every one of y'all. Again, like Hector mentioned, man, the fact that y'all take the time to spend stirring up some flavor with us, man, to spend just talking sports, man, it's greatly appreciated. You know what I'm saying? And it just makes us feel good about what we do, man. And like I say, the fact that y'all show up, show love every evening, that y'all utilize the sauce line when I actually give y'all the number to call in, I guess that helps. Again, I appreciate y'all, and I thank y'all very much. So y'all, if y'all,
Heidi, no, I'm not running no Chinese restaurant, man.
Dang, if you were, man, hook it up.
Man, look, I know what you got.
Shit, y'all know, man. Y'all know I got y'all, man. Shit, if I was,
I need some fried rice.
And it will be some lo mein, that shrimp fried rice, and for y'all that like that hot sauce and cheese, I got that too. You know what I'm saying? I'd have all that.
Was that sriracha?
Hey, we got it all, man. Shit, when it come down to this sauce, man, we drip that flavor.
Yeah, look, John McClain gonna be your #1 customer, man.
Oh no.
See,
his ass gotta
He's
go.
gotta pay double.
I'm looking at all this.
Nah, his ass can't come here because shit. He start coming to my establishment, shit. Motherfuckers gonna start treating it like it's Aisha Curry's establishment.
No,
like you giving out bad information.
They gonna set your shit on fire. They gonna be his number one
that's
favorite
still
place.
a trip for me, man.
No, man, that's hilarious, dog. I can't, when it actually opens up, that should be very interesting.
I think didn't it open up already?
Is it open up already? I don't know, because I heard that. I thought they were doing it before it even started. I thought it was supposed to start off. Oh yeah, it is July. Fuck, so it might be.
I was gonna go, but then I saw all the Yelp reviews and I was like, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, motherfucker be protesting outside that motherfucker like them damn abortion clinics and shit. I'm gonna be out there.
I gotta go in there with like a trench coat and like glasses, just so no one can tell it's me.
Yeah. I saw a member of Soft Sports eating at. They're traitors, and they're trying to set us out. Oh, it'd be over with there. But
hell, they gonna be like, get the pitchforks ready.
Oh man! But again, like I say, we gonna call it a wrap.
Need to start a channel for like Hector's ship food reviews, starting with Aisha Curry.
That's not a bad idea. Like that, we might be on to something with that. But like I said, we'll call it a wrap here. I'm saying I appreciate y'all. Well, with that being said, Sauce Nation, y'all be cool like y'all be cool. I'm chugging up the deuce, and we'll holler at y'all later, mañana, tomorrow, all that good stuff.
What's up, Curry?
And with that, man, we out.